your shoulder makes your skin crawl. And we only come alive after nightfall. I've been singing in the shadows, slipping through the streets. Roll up right beside you, I'll right to my feet. Something's right behind you, hope that it's not me. Something's right behind you.
We got that man Clifton Leonard, top 64 at the YCS.
I got top 32.
Top 32?
Yeah, Austin got top 64.
Ah, fuck, even better. Look at this guy over here. You know him, we clapped him up in 10 minutes. Don't worry.
Literal Exodia.
It was 10 minutes. You got it, Brad. It was Exodia. Game 2, though. Game 1, not so much.
I fucking brick.
I can dig it. We all brick. Just ask Gold. I had a good hand. His Gold, he clapped me up.
What you
It
know
was
about
terrible.
Vanities, man?
At Vanities, I had no out. All right, so let's get into this profile.
All
That
right.
was wild.
So I know the ban list just dropped like Saturday during the middle of the event, but I played Despia, and this deck's probably still going to be pretty good for the next format. So still want to do a profile on it. 3 Albert standard. Got to get to your branded fusion. 1 tragedy. It's good to search Aliber, like if you can ever dump it off like opening, or if you have branded fusion, you can send it to the graveyard at Aliber to hard search expulsion or whatever card you need. But with the release of Quim, it gains a lot of added value because she's treated as a Despia monster. So if you like normal Aliber, branded fusion, and then you fuse, you dump this, and then you can get access to Quim, which is super nice. I didn't play Adlib, cut that just because it was too much of a brick. 3 Albas. Also with the release of Quim, this card gets much better. It's really good to dump off of Quim just normal summoning Quim and dumping Albas is like pretty good. Even if you just normally dump it and pass, if your opponent summons from the extra deck, you just automatically get to bring back Albas, and then it triggers the fuse with your opponent's monster, so it forces some sort of interaction. But yeah, you also just need 3 in the deck you don't want it to get banished off of like Mind Hacker stuff, you know, Rise Heart, things like that. Thankfully, those cards are gone.
Still got a Rise Heart 3, but it's all good.
Yeah, but Cashier will still probably be pretty good after the ban list, but 3 for this event for sure. Also, I played Nadir Servant, so you need another good card to search off of Nadir Servant with this, alongside Quim. Also, it's not bad to open because of Cartesia. If you just open Cartesia, or you can fusion deployment it out, and you like open Albas, you can just fuse and make like the Albion or whatever you need to, climb up into your ways that play if your branded fusion gets dashed. 2 Cartesia though, it's just really good to it's good to open, it's good to summon off a fusion deployment. You don't want to get a banished. This card's just fantastic. It helps you,
dodges Baylor's.
It does. It helps you play through Ash the best way. 1 Quim. This card's absolutely amazing. You don't want to like have too many normal summons in the deck, because there are some times where you have to like normal summon Aliber, or you have to normal summon Cartesia to get your play started. You can't always fusion deployment them out. But so you don't want to play more than this originally. I don't know if it'll increase with the new ban list, but yeah, card's fantastic. Just being able to keep looping Mirror Jades and summoning back stuff from your graveyard.
Mirror Jade 3 times. Oh lord.
Yeah, like I remember like in some of my matches, I would just make a Mirror Jade with this, and then like I would just Mercury or something, and then I opponent would summon from the extra deck, or I would like use Mirror Jade, dump a card from my extra deck, banish something, and then use this to bring back Mercury from my graveyard, because Mercury can use its effect on the field to send it to the graveyard to negate a monster effect. So yeah, her being able to recycle everything gives the deck a really good like grind game. And it's a Despia and Dogmatic monster, so it's searchable off Tragedy, Nadir Servant, everything. You get to summon off Lulu in the end phase too.
Overall, it's a well-rounded card.
1-ofs. Puppet, card's insane. Albion, probably the best card to like search off of Branded Lost. This is kind of like the main stuff you're searching off of Branded Lost. Dumps Retribution, draw a card. It's also treated as Albas what's in the graveyard, which is important so you can dump it off of like Grangola or something, and then before you put it back, you can like special summon Cartesia or something from your hand, or if you have to, you know, you can brand it a red target, add it back or something, banish it from the graveyard in order to fuse. But yeah, being able to dump Retribution and then draw a card is really good. Kits, this helps you, kind of another consistency card, helps you search Branded Fusion, so it kind of acts as like a 4th Aliburn sometimes. But if your play gets like stopped halfway through, or you're not able to get access to Lubellion or something, you can add this off of Lost, special summon it, and then this can search for your Expulsion. That way you can like hard add it and then set it. That way you don't lose out to like an Ash Blossom, or like a Bestial or Crow or something in your end phase, like if they hit your Albion, so that way you don't get the Expulsion. Because most of the time you're trying to banish the puppet. Normally they would save those cards to try to banish the puppet from your graveyard, but if your hand's decent enough, you can banish the puppet from your graveyard. That way they can't Bestial or like stuff your from the grave. And then Mercury, just being able to negate cards. Hit a lot of Nibiru's and stuff this weekend. Being able to revive it off Quim, super nice. It's the best card to like dump into an Arise Heart whenever you're activating Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion dumping this and this because they automatically get banished with the Arise Heart on the field. And then you make the Rinbrum, and then the Rinbrum can like negate the mandatory effect of Arise Heart to bounce Shangri-La, stuff like that. And then this card, since it was banished, it adds an Albas. And then after that, your Rinbrum bounces something, you can just normally Albas, discard a card, suck up their Shangri-La. That's how you usually clear their board with just a Branded Fusion.
Bro, that play sounds nasty.
It's just searchable, so
That's
one's
fair.
fine. Sarnier and Lebellion, mainly just there to dump off of Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion, you want to dump this, the best light target to send, because whenever you dump Albaz in this, you make Albion, and then the Albion banishes Albaz, and then whatever dark monsters on your field or hand, normally it's like an Aliber or something. And then you'll have the Lebellion, or you'll have Albion, it'll fuse into Lebellion, the Lebellion will make the Mirror Jade, and then you'll tribute the Albion to summon this from the graveyard. So that way your Albion will trigger in the end phase. This can place your Branded and Lost face up. And then you'll use Cartesia and this usually to fuse into Gringuinol. And then it'll trigger the Lost to add Mercurier or Kid or whatever you need from there. And then this card, I mean, fantastic. Just discarding it off opening and being able to dump Retribution or whatever card you need. Same as like Gringuinol, just being able to dump this and then dump whatever spell or trap that you need access to is incredible. But yeah, Cash is still like one of the most popular decks, so you don't want to play a lot of Bestials in the main deck. The only defensive I played was Nibiru. At the beginning of the format, this was Droll, because Droll is really good against Super Heavy Samurai, and it's like decent against Cash. But the more we played, people just got smarter, of course. So I would just Droll them like on their Soul Piercer, and then they would just make the Link 1, and then Wakashi, and then Scarecrow back on another 4, and then make a Baguska and pass. And Despia has no out to Baguska. So they would just
the games.
Yeah, they would just sit on Baguska, and I wasn't able to play, and then they would just skip my turn, and then they would just combo and kill me on the follow-up. So I didn't want to main Droll. This is just like enough to stop them from doing like a crazy combo most of the time. Because Despia, if it can play, it can usually beat like a couple of negates and stuff like that. It's also really good against Keshtira, just being able to clear their whole board and stuff like that. Also, at the beginning of the format, people were just like doing like the FTK with Super Heavy Samurai, and then it kind of evolved into like the big negate board with like Regulus, Appaloosa, Baron, stuff like that. So Droll was alright to hit all that stuff, but once the deck started to evolve more, the good people at the event were playing the Omega hand loop with like Dissipator, being able to rip cards from your hand and stuff. So Droll lost a lot of value against this deck. You needed Nibiru to like shut them down as quick as possible.
Just suck their whole board up.
Yeah, because like if you're going to Droll them, they can still like make an Omega or something. They're still going to rip a couple cards from your hand, and then you neg one with the Droll. So it was really, really bad. So yeah, this card is just good against Super Heavy Samurai, and it's really, really good against Keshtira.
But you continue to play next format.
Nibiru?
Yeah.
I
Or
guess
it's like interchangeable cards.
yeah, for now, I think Nibiru is like fine. It's a good solid card. But like Despia's still popular. This card's not very good against Despia. I know Skyshirer got a lot of cards back. I don't know how good that deck is. This card's really bad against Striker though. I think Kashtira is pretty solid too. I think Super Heavy Samurai will be fine too. So I think yeah, Nibiru will still probably be pretty good. Spells. Branded Fusion, doesn't need an explanation. Best card on the deck. If it resolves, you win. I got Ash Blossomed a lot over the weekend. I got hand trapped so many times, but this deck can just play through so much now with the Cartesia and Quim and stuff. Opening, I'm surprised this card did not go to 1. I definitely thought they were going to ban Expulsion, but I'm pretty sure the OCG limited this to 1 at one point. It might still be limited, I'm not sure.
Opening's so good.
Yeah, this card's absolutely fantastic. It used to be super mid because you mainly just only could summon Aliber. You never wanted to summon like Tragedy or Adlib or something. So mainly it was just to summon Aliber to search Branded Fusion. But now, this being able to also summon Quim is ridiculous because it's a Despia monster. Just being able to like opening, summon out Quim, and then dump Albas, and then or dump Cartesia and then play from there. Like that's like pretty much the god hand. Like opening, discard, summon Quim, dump Cartesia, and then Branded Fusion. That way you can like fuse, and then Quim brings back the Cartesia that it dumped. Insane. Yeah, this card get a lot of extra added value now with Quim. That's why I thought this was gonna go to 1. I'm surprised it didn't. The one of like cool spells, Branded Red, High Spirits, and Lost. Lost, amazing, searches all your negates and good cards. It's really good against like the weird decks like Flunder, Trap decks, stuff like that, the way they can't respond to your cards. It's also just searchable, so you only need 1, you just place it on the field with Lebellion most of the time. Or if your hand's really good, you search it with Aliber if you already open up Fusion. Branded in Red just helps you dodge a lot of Infect Negation, like Valor, Imperm, Moonlit Chill, stuff like that. And then High Spirits. This is probably my favorite spell in the deck. Only 1 just because it's searchable. It's really good with the Nadir play during the end phase, being able to search it off of Kit. But there were like so many times where I like activate this and then discard like just a Sarnier. That way you could like search kit, and then kit would get you to a Brand Diffusion. This would dump Retribution or whatever you need. Or, you know, just like this, discard Albaz, add Quim or anything that you need. But the best play all weekend is I dumped Gimmick Puppet off of this so many times. Like, this card is actually really, really good to draw. Because, like, you can discard it off Lubellion or opening whatever you need, but activating this and discarding this by revealing Sprint in your extra deck to then search kit to get to Brand Diffusion or whatever you need, absolutely amazing. And then it just keeps coming back every end phase, kind of like Cartesia whenever a fusion is sent to the graveyard. But I saw this out a lot going second.
That's fair.
Fusion deployment, summon Albaz or Cartesia from your main deck. Just another extender, really helps you play through Ash Blossom, stuff like that. Amazing card. Nadir's Servant. Started out a lot going second into like combo matchups, like Super Heavy Samurai, because you really need to just like have a bunch of live cards if you need to push through their board. Started out going second against Kashtira because most of the time they're going to end on a Rise Heart. This card's dead. But going first, this is the card that helps you play through hand traps the most. Whenever you Brand Fusion and like it gets Ash or whatever, you just activate this, add Quim, dump Lulu, you normal summon the Quim, dump Albaz, and then during the end phase, Lulu summons out Cartesia. So you have Quim Cartesia, so you can fuse on your opponent's turn, and then you Quim will trigger to bring back Albaz. It just allows you to play on your opponent's turn a lot. This card, absolutely amazing.
Do any of your matches did the add back from grave ever come up?
Yeah, because you only play one Quim, and once Quim hits the graveyard, there's no way to get it back, pretty much. So yeah, there was a lot of times where like I would even I had to like Brand Fusion dump the Quim because it was the last like spellcaster in my deck to make like the Albion Sanctifier guy or something, and then I would just activate this, dump the other Albion, and then add back Quim, and then that way the Albion in the graveyard was still triggered to set my expulsion or whatever I needed. So it just helps you get to the extra deck monsters because it could dump anything.
Oh, that's true. Super fair.
Last minute additions was a Talents and 2 Thrust.
Rusty boys.
Yeah, Austin is the guy who I built this deck with. He also top 64'd. I didn't like it at first, but he kept hyping it up, so I wanted to try it. The big appeal of this card at face value is, you know, playing into a board, Brand Diffusion. If it gets negated like activation or something like Baron, you can just thrust, search another Brand Diffusion. Or if you don't open Brand Diffusion, you know, you just bait out some of their negates, you activate it, search Brand Diffusion, or Talents, and just push through their board.
Push through the board.
But honestly, the card has a lot more value going first. If you get hand trapped or something, a lot of times you can still stumble into a Granguinol play, with Fusion Deployment out Cartesia, or like Quim dumping in Cartesia or something, and then making Granguinol and Granguinol dumping Puppet. And then you can activate this if your Brand Diffusion got ashed or whatever, and you can just set the expulsion with this. So that way you're still, you just skip through all the Brand Diffusion steps. And that way you can still skip your opponent's turn with the expulsion play. You know, you bring back like a Quim, Alibur, Cartesia, whatever from your grave, and you give them the puppet. It skips their turn, and then on your follow-up, it just gives you that one extra turn in order to kill him. Yeah, these were super polys at the beginning, but kind of like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the decks that I was playing against, their boards were changing. Like they weren't making the Baron, Appaloosa, or Regulus board. So like most of the time you wanted to super poly Appaloosa and Baron into Mud Dragon or something, or like Regulus and like whatever Earth monster, like Regulus Exterio or whatever they were ending on. But since that deck moved away from that and started doing the Hand Lip Omega version, Super Poly just having to discard so many cards and their board wasn't as super polyable anymore. So yeah, that's why we switched to these. Very, very glad we did. It's much better going first than second. Call by the Grave, God card. Resolve it a couple times this weekend. I mean, just hitting Ash, you win the game.
You win the game. It's like, man, my only point of action was Ash.
And then the 2 traps. Retribution, banish it from your graveyard, add back Brand Diffusion, add back Expulsion, whatever card you need. Absolutely amazing. I resolved its effect to negate like a monster effect or a spell or trap to summons like 5 times this weekend.
Oh my God, that happened to me too. We
Yeah, I hit like Scareclaw Cash a couple times. I hit some Theosis, like everything. This card went in this weekend. It's kind of crazy. And then Expulsion. So glad this card's banned. Absolutely amazing.
Expulsion.
Yeah, but yeah, card's insane. Extra deck. 2 Mirror Jades, all you need. 2 Albion. I'm a huge fan of 3 of this card, honestly, but now that we have all of the new stuff like Lulu and Grango and all that stuff, yeah, space is pretty tight. But yeah, 2 is fine. Extremely, the best play in the deck, honestly, is the Brand Diffusion for this, and then use this to summon out Mirror Jade, and then tribute this away for Lubellion. But yeah, it's just the best card to summon. It extends onto all your stuff. It can actually attack once you like summon it in a fusion or something. So if you Brand Diffusion into this and then summon Mirror Jade, that's already 55. If you can make another fusion or like summon Lubellion or something, that's game. Yeah, it's just the best card to summon. It's the best card to dump off a Mirror Jade. 1 Lubellion. kind of might seem strange, just because most of the people rip this with Hacker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, how often did this get ripped?
Yeah,
Did they
every,
get ripped?
every single time, but it's actually the wrong card to hit. The card you want to hit with Hacker is Renbrom. This is how you break the boards of Cashier going second. But yeah, you only need this for your turn 1 play whenever you like Branded Fusion, where you make this, dump Albaz and Lubellion. This banishes Albaz and a Dark Monster. For this, discard a card, you fuse this in the Albaz for a Mirror Jade, and then you tribute this away for the Lubellion. That's pretty much the only time you ever need this card. It's just your going first combo. Sometimes it comes up like in the grind, where you can like shuffle back your Albions and Mirror Jades to make weird stuff like Stapelion stuff, so you can put back some of your engine. But yeah, you
Keep your resources low.
yeah, but you don't ever need it whenever you're going second or something. Most of the time you're just trying to kill them with put damage on board with Lubellion. You don't need it for your turn 1 play. The other like weird fusions were these guys. Amazing into the Cashier matchup. Just being able to... these are all like just good cards that you can just hard summon with just a Branded Fusion without having to go through an extender like Albion or Lubellion. You kind of use these as bridges to make other cards like Mirror Jade and stuff, but like all these cards you can just slam Branded Fusion and make. So you could just Branded Fusion, send Mercarier and Albaz, summon this. And if you have Quim on field, it's perfect because you just normal summon Quim, and then you dump Mercarier or you dump Albaz or whatever you need, and then you Branded Fusion, dump Albaz and Quim or Mercarier, summon this, and then the Quim brings back Mercarier that you just dumped to summon this. So now you have this guy and another negate with Mercarier. So sometimes if you're playing under Nib or you're in a super simplified game state or you've just been through your Albions and Lubellions, you know, this card's super good. Really good to dump off of Mirror Jade too. It turns Mirror Jade in like a 2-stage interruption. You use this, dump this, banish a card, and now this card activates as another interruption in the graveyard by banishing itself to summon Albaz from the grave and fuse on your opponent's turn. Brigand, never summoned it. You mainly just use it to dump on your first turn if you need to search Mercarier or something. It's also just a free card to summon Albaz on your opponent's turn. Like if you just activate this and then dump something like this on your opponent's turn, banish a card, this card just being in the graveyard is like a constant looming threat that they have to like deal with. Because if they pass during the end phase, this is just going to summon Albaz from their deck and then threaten another, card to interrupt. So you're just going to try to fuse with their board. But yeah, most of the time you just dump this and then search Mercarier because most of the time this is going to be tributed off by the Lubellion or graveyard, so you don't need to dump this off the Mirror Jade. Sprint, really good with the Gimmick Puppet stuff. Also really good to dump off of Nadir because during the end phase, you Nadir, dump this, add Quim, and then you can summon a Spriggan's Kit from your deck with this. Kit adds High Spirits, and then you can like combo and do stuff from there.
Keep coming on that.
Yeah, it's also just a really good fusion card with Albaz because it takes any monster I'll special summon this turn. So
So you can suck up a free monster.
yeah, you can suck up the random stuff that you can't normally make. Like Mirror Jade takes like an extra monster, this takes a dark, light, but this can suck up weird stuff like Fenrir's and stuff like that.
Unicorns, anything you need.
Yep.
Take them on the board. Did the column destruction ever come up?
It did not come up this weekend, but I've totally done it before. I've blown up like, it only destroys face-up cards, but I've blown up like a Birth and a Fenrir in the same
like
column,
all in the
stuff like
same
that.
column?
Yeah, it's nice.
Column game.
And then Sanctifier. Card is incredible. It's just like another Expulsion. If your hand's really good, you can end on Mirror Jade, this, and Expulsion. So that way, even if you like start your turn activating this, target Puppet and whatever, and like DD Crow, Bell, or whatever, then you chain the Expulsion, and then you kind of, you just force it through. Yeah. He's also huge, and he can be targeted, which a lot of people just totally disregard. So he's actually a real like threat to deal with.
Like I was watching they were trying to Veiler, trying to impermanently. You can't target it.
Yep, and it can bring back any cards from the graveyard. It can't bring back from Banish like Expulsion, but it'd be able to bring up any cards just during your opponent's turn once per turn. Like I was just like giving my opponent like a draw back from their graveyard, and then I was taking their Baron that they'd already used and just using it on my turn. I took an opponent's Regulus, all sorts of stuff like that.
Renegade.
Yeah.
Use the secret effect.
I did not use the secret effect, tribute the 4 monsters to bring it back. That was my goal this weekend, but it didn't come up. You don't make him like a lot, but he's there and he comes in clutch. Gringuinol, I only missed the second one once, but I still won that game. I don't think you need to. Card's fantastic though. Just being able to dump any extra card that you need. It always just dumps the missing piece. Dumps Saronir, so then Saronir can dump Retribution to add back any spell or something in the graveyard. Dumps Puppet. Yeah, card's amazing. I even use its banished effects to summon like Lulu and Quertus a bunch too. A lot of people forget about that.
Quertus is a god.
Yeah, Quertus is amazing. It's, really good in the mirror. Just being able to, like, whenever it leaves the field, summon Albaz from your deck. Make all your opponents 0. It's good against Casteria. Basically, it just helps you live. And most of the time, you're just cheating it out with this. It also comes up a lot more now because Quim is treated as a Despia monster. There's a lot of times where, like, you may have already been through your Gringuinol, but you have Cartesian Quim. So Cartesian Quim can just fuse to make this. Chimera, play Brandon in red. This is just mainly there for like the weird hands, but also like the decks like Flunder, Trap decks, stuff like that. It's like the only back row removal in the deck.
Outside of the side, so it's all good.
Yeah. Borlo Furious Dragon. This was originally Mud Dragon, but we cut Super Poly, so we needed something else to kind of like take its spot. And instead of like the Mud Dragon or Second Lebellion, we played this guy. Takes any 2 Dark Dragon monsters, so you can make it with like any of your Bestials, your Albions, Fallen Albaz, anything like that. It's also kind of like Albaz and an opponent's Dark monster, so you can like make it with your opponent's Bestials or any of like anything they have in the field. Like I played against Dragon Link and I made it like sucked up his Rocket Tracer with like my Albaz.
Yep,
and then it's just quick effect, pop a monster you control, pop a card your opponent controls. So you can like pop a card, you can like pop itself, pop an opponent's card, save it with branded opening, you know, cute little things like that. It's also one of the only ways, kind of like Chimera, where it deals with like back row. A lot of times I would summon this against Cash and then pair it with Rimbrum. That way this could like clear Birth and like the weird cards that I normally couldn't deal with. But yeah, this card was really, really
Birth
good.
was a problem. You're trying to resolve that branded.
I know, they just banish stuff from the graveyard, but you can make this kind of like clear Birth. And it's like, it's just being able to pop a card on each turn is really, really good. Despia, just good against the weird decks. It's helpful to like put back your weird stuff whenever you like make you've already been through a lot of things. You make a Lebellion, discard a card, you can put back like an Albion and another Jade, and then make this so it helps recycle some of your engine. So really good effect negation against the weird decks, and it's good against Kashtira, you know, negate their guys, put them at level 1 so they can't overlay with them. And then the last card of the extra deck is Lulu. Best card to jump off of Nadir Servants. It's pretty good to summon off of Granguinol too, whenever your opponent special summons by a monster effects. Came up a lot this weekend, just the graveyard effect to summon, even when I was summoning off Granguinol. This paired with the Mirror Jade, being able to like use Mirror Jade, dump a card, banish a card, and then trigger Lulu to negate a face-up card your opponent controls. I was negating like Pearlies, like my friend Pearly, Kashtira Birds, all sorts of stuff like that. And if your opponent just doesn't know how to like interact with the card, like these interactions, you can really throw them for a loop. And it buffs all your guys by 500 permanently, so it can make your guys huge.
Yeah. Lethal.
Yeah, but mainly just to dump off into Deer. And then lastly, the side deck. 3 Magnamuts. I made the Sarnier and Lebellion, but I didn't play any of like the other weird Bestials because this is kind of like Dragon Link. It's you don't really care about the weird ones like Baldrake or Druisworm or something. You just want the best Bestial, which is Magnamut, because you can search Lebellion or Sarnier or Fallen Albaz or Albion to like dump a spell trap and then draw a card. So this can like search real cards in your deck. So I just wanted the best one as possible. Good in the mirror, good against Mathmech, you know, stuff like that.
100%. Big dragon skill.
Yeah, 3 Droll, good against Super Heavy Samurai, fantastic card. Just, yeah, I think this card probably has to be in your deck somewhere.
Yeah. You don't want them decks to just run Ravage over you?
Yeah. Shifter, really good against
What,
Super
the
Heavy.
deuce?
Yeah, really good against Super Heavy Samurai. It's another good card that's pretty solid against Pearly. That way they can't make like a huge Noir on their first turn or something. I'm just being able to stop them from playing, and then on your turn you just Branded Fusion, you just send Tragedy and Albaz. Trigger your Tragedy because it was banished, send Albaz and Mercurier, trigger your Mercurier because it was banished, make your
All these
Rimbrum,
pluses.
Lebellion. Yeah.
And you just turn skip them.
Yes, so this card's amazing. If your deck can play it, it should play it. 3 Book of Eclipse. This was originally Kaiju's and then it was Kurikaras, but this card has the best overlap between Cash and Pearly. If you can like Book of Eclipse your opponent's like Pearly whenever they're about to activate Pearly Yeep, you know, it shuts them off, deals with Cash boards the best.
Makes them expend their hash.
And then my only going first card was There Could Be Only One. Really good against Super Heavy Samurai, good against Pearly.
Good against everything that's mono. Oh,
Never drew it all weekend. Puppet just kind of came clutch the whole time. But yeah. Card, it's a floodgate. It's a blow up.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the deck I got top 32 with. Austin got top 64. Shout out to all the Kentucky boys. Shout out to Through the Decades. We have a regional June 10th here in Louisville, Kentucky. If you guys are close, you should stop by.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're vending, so come sell me all your cards.
Like a Pete lover. Boo. His voice so deep.
Shout out to Tom Menzel. He's the guy who hooked us up with like pretty much all of these foreign cards. If you need foreign cards, you know, message him for sure. And then shout out to my team, Top Toy Scamming, for all the support. All the Kentucky boys that went and did well. And shout out to Tyler for the video.
All right. Thank you and appreciate your time.
Like a spider on your shoulder